Hi guys, Troublemaker here, and this is Wargame Red Dragon. I am here today with Griffor, and we are watching a great match. Today with Blue 4, we have Kassos and Mesrine, the top player in the game, playing for our Blue 4 side.
And on the red 4 side, we have RKKA AmberT and Hunter.
Alright, so I guess this is going to be our Christmas special.
Yeah, who doesn't like Christmas specials?
It's basically the time of year when Wargame dies. Nobody plays Wargame for Christmas.
So it does kind of die off. Maybe they're hoping to counter that with the Scandi DLC that's slowly rolling out and making sense.
Yeah, it started off really terrible because of huge blunders, but now it's starting to come into being a real patch that doesn't
Well,
suck.
I mean, the 40 HE was a little embarrassing. I wonder if that was done as more of a troll thing for the weekend. I don't know. Like, I just don't see how no one noticed that.
An early April
That's
Fool's
it,
joke.
early April Fools.
But usually with the marshals, like they will notice something like that, and they'll just not use that unit. That's like the standard marshal type practice. But with like they opened it up to everyone, so instead everyone just abused that unit up until the time it was changed.
Yeah, everybody wants to win.
So it looks like Blue 4 has a really good idea of what they want to do. You're getting all their units out right away, and still waiting on some Red 4 units to roll out. Uh, barely have commands out. And interesting enough, we're going to see light and medium tanks being deployed here for Mesrine. And like I said, he is one of these top players in the game, so even though what he's doing is not exactly that meta right now, he's got a method to his madness.
Well, you do want the medium tanks to really absorb a lot of the RPGs and ATGMs and other tank fire. So, and it looks like he does have a couple of heavies coming out as well. A few.
Running that Challenger Mark 1, Mark 2.
I only see the Mark ones. Maybe you mean the Chieftain.
Yes, the Chieftain. And still no units out for AmberT or Hunter, so they're probably still just discussing what they're going to plan. AmberT throwing down some flags for what he plans to do, and looks like he will be doing a little bit of invasion through the forest in the south.
Yeah, it looks like he's planning for where he wants to go, I would say. So maybe planning to take that city and then or the little factory area and then maybe flank around and head to Alpha or come in the backside of Charlie.
Yeah, it can be a little bit brutal playing on the red forest side in this map because the town is actually so far forward that it allows for a very easy position to invade that Foxtrot base.
Yeah, I do feel that Red has a slight advantage though, as their spawn to Charlie is much shorter than the spawn from Delta to Gulf, as you have to go across really a big open field, whereas the Foxtrot thing you have a lot of woods to slowly advance forward in.
So maybe some asymmetrical balance happening
Could
here.
be.
This is definitely one of these lesser played maps, mostly because it's a 2v2 map and it has at least three, but potentially, when you look at it, five flanks, including those southern and northern forested regions.
Yeah, I mean, I see it played a lot more in 3v3 to be honest than I ever do in 2v2. Just because the map kind of breaks up in a 3v3 style of a map with one in the middle and then one on each flank.
So I'm still really interested to see exactly what we have going on here, because I mean, a lot of tanks as an opener is not all that common, and in the direction where he has his tanks, it's mostly conquestable towns and forests. So, uh, especially with a lot of these light tanks in here, it feels like he has to be going for some sort of rush or covering ridiculous amounts of ground against infantry.
Well, it looks like he is playing Commonwealth, I want to say, or maybe just Britain. So he will not have the good anti-infantry troops as Britain, as that's one thing Commonwealth really lacks is really good infantry in comparison
Napalm.
to its, you know, packed counterparts.
Yeah, I mean, just to get an idea, I think Hunter has the pronunciation is going to kill me. Granado,
The grenade troops, correct?
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, like those. I think he has those rallied
Yep.
in, and they, not a lot of health on them, but they obliterate
Yeah.
infantry. They have such a huge range on them.
Yeah, Eastern Bloc definitely has some nice units, be it the Fallschirmjäger, or not the Formosas with their grenade launchers, and then you also have the grenade troops from the Czechs and their little 5-man squad.
All right, and we are away. Any planes? No,
That is one difference
no
I've noticed in
planes.
between Airland Battle and Red Dragon is that you don't really have that beginning air spam that you had in Airland Battle. Like in Airland Battle, you
Well, it's
always
actually for the
bought
best.
planes right off the bat. It was necessary. And in Red Dragon, almost no one buys, an ASF at the beginning of the game.
It was necessary in airline battle because NATO could get, some of the most powerful planes for much, much cheaper, and they could just obliterate the map with very, very few units. And if Pac didn't have like a MiG 31 or MiG 29 available to shoot some of those things down, like they just lose from the get go.
Yeah, it was extremely nice to get to play with, the cheap MiG-21s as packed.
But both these players, or should I say, all four of these players, very, very good, have a very strong split of units on the map, crossing, yeah, basically five flanks
Mm-hmm.
right now.
It looks like Pact is going to be able to capture all the sectors except for Echo right off the bat. And that will give, and it will start to allow them to catch up in points that the Blue 4 team's gaining at the moment. Getting a slight bleed as Pact hasn't really unloaded their CVs once they reach the destination.
And to be important, neither has Blue for Delta has a command in it. They could easily take that and start rallying in units from Delta, but choosing to focus his energies
Yep.
elsewhere.
Yeah, usually a good thing is just to shift given order. That way it'll unload as soon as it reaches the point that you're trying to get to. I found. And it kind of looks like Amber's
Yeah,
taking control of more of a holding position at the moment, which is kind of securing India, Gulf, and Echo with infantry, while Hunter really pushes hard to take Charlie.
and actually getting pretty well stomped by the tank ball, the LSTR, which is a hybrid anti-tank, anti-infantry type. And being forced to pull back will probably want to resupply it because that is a full vetted infantry
Yeah, it is
unit.
definitely getting a supply truck coming in. I'm gonna imagine to come repair that guy up. I haven't seen too many tank balls as of late, so it'll be interesting to see how that works out for Mesrine.
I always see them as late game tank balls. People just stockpiling their tanks all game for a late game push. I've never seen them as an early tactic because infantry are just too strong. But he does have 40 Fusilier squads coming in here, and with the tank support, he might be able to overwhelm
I
this.
think that is really his goal, just because the Fusiliers don't have the best weapons in the world, but they're also not the worst. And with the tank support, they should be able to compete and easily win, I think is his goal.
And he's not even using all of his tanks. The thing he hasn't spread around a very wide flank, just so that if anything comes in, he can deal with it. Now, having said that, there is a Twardy doing some return fire and hasn't quite been spotted yet by our Blue 14.
Now it's been spotted now, as it is opening fire.
And it looks like our Fusiliers will, in fact, be able to make the breach. They will be able to land, and with that, they'll probably kill at least one of these Modal Streltsy squads, possibly two, depending on the angles of attacks. They're staying mostly on the innards, so if this FV432 can move a little bit northeast, it could probably kill off this Modal Streltsy.
It looks like this Twardy is just making short work of all the cheap tanks that Mesrine's rallied out here.
It's the big reason why you don't generally see a lot of light tanks in these kind of openers, because they just get completely thwarted by heavy and mediums.
Yep. Especially when someone pulls out a super heavy. And it looks like Red has rallied out a CV for Echo, so they will start to tick. And they do have a slight lead already.
Oh boy, here comes the B5 bomber from AmberT. This is their first plane introduced in this game so far, and it's a pretty powerful one.
B5 is a very scary plane. Although it is interesting that half the kills don't actually register ever off of the B5, so you never actually know what you managed to kill at the end of the game with it.
Yeah, because I guess how the kills work is with it, they go by what's the closest.
I'm not really sure, actually. And I don't think that tracked rapier is going to be enough to really stop the B5. That did really stun everything in the woods there.
And I think, unfortunately, for Mesrine with his deck, I think the tracked rapier is really the only option he has.
No, you should have the tracked rapier FSA if you're getting the basic tracked rapier, so he will have a better ASL, better air-to-air anti choice. And it looks like we do have a small push going from AmberT on the right flank. I get some Panzer Grenadier 90s with some awful leopards.
And it's just actually a ridiculous amount of infantry with some pretty powerful support vehicles and a T-72A coming along the southern flank. I don't know how far he's going to get with this, but it's already looking like he's done a lot of damage.
Yeah, it is.
But keep in mind, this is also the respawn point, so he can get in exactly that mixture he needs to deal with this.
Yeah, and really all you need to do is decap the zone, and you can slowly push in. Just it's going to be very hard for him to take it with the respawn point being so close. And it does look like Mesrine's going to rally out a couple of tanks here to back up his buddy and hold that delta position.
And some of the forces from AmberT are pulling back. A tank in the south there probably just doesn't want to get knifed by that ATGM Milan.
And it looks like that Strela was able to pick up a nice kill on that Recon Tiger.
And those are definitely not that easy to kill. A little bit weird that he has the two of them grouped together. There is a morale bonus to doing that, but usually with your anti-air, you want to spread them out as much as possible to cover as many possible areas.
Well, the one reason you would group the Strelas and the Taurs at the same time, same for the tracked rapiers, is that they tend to hit more when they're grouped. I'm not really sure if it's a bug or it's just what people have noticed over time, but they do tend to at least have better accuracy, it appears, whenever they are grouped together. And it could just be what people think.
And now all of AmberT's units have been pretty well cleared up, so he'll have to push back and try and regroup for another push. He's actually got more infantry coming in, though, so he's not going to stop this madness. He's going to keep this pressure.
No, I believe he's actually playing his mechanized deck of mixed pack, so he will have quite a few units here. Let me do it.
All the while, Hunter in the south is actually doing pretty well with his push. These B5s have been super effective at keeping the line of Mesrine back further and further.
And we do have another B5 coming in.
And some oh my god, that was a little bit belated damage on my part. Yes, wiped out 2 squads.
Yeah. And that tracked rapier is just really not able to keep the plains of AmberT off the map, our hunter. And it looks like we do have a command
And
being brought
unfortunately,
out by by Griffor to Echo to cancel the bleed. It'll probably get there by the time it reaches 125, I think. Unless it gets on the road quickly.
that'll be just a slowing mechanism until they can kind of regain their ability and push some zone, whether it be the middle
A-
one or not. The middle is actually very volatile because of so much
Another
open area.
B5 coming in. Oh, wow. Big blast there.
Yeah, it got rid of all anti-air, so he'll be able to continue to bomb that without anyone getting in the way. And with these Moto Streltsies coming in here, they should be able to clean up these tanks pretty easily. These are all pretty light tanks. They don't take more than 2 hits to kill. And Moto Streltsies, of course, firing 3 heat weapons. There's the split.
Yeah, it's always good to keep your infantry as split as possible so that they can fire at different targets if need be. And it looks like we do have some
Oh,
smoke coming
smoke for
out.
the
Yep.
save. There's not a terribly high number of units coming out here for red or blue for it, and kind of see why they weren't buying more anti-air. He actually has a Typhoon out, and this is one of the let's see what top 5 air superiority fighters in the
I would
game.
say it's better than the F-15C, but not by much. As the Raphael kind of takes the pinnacle of the ASF duty.
French developers.
Yeah. It does look like Amber's been able to get a nice little foothold in the city south of Delta.
Maybe not for too much longer. The Conquerors have burned through every single one of their rockets, so gonna have to have some supplies coming in. Looks like that's exactly what's happening.
We do have a recon tank coming out as well. Just to try to provide more vision. It looks like a sniper team coming out. Or maybe a card of Grinzers, I'm going to guess, coming out to provide some more vision as well.
And in comes the beginning of the anti-radar tactics, and there's only one anti-air unit on the map. It is a radar weapon, and its weapons are currently turned on, so he might be able to get this kill on this Roland. Let's see, he's in range, he's firing. Roland is
Yep.
down.
And he will level up as well, so that'll be nice for the SU as well. Looks like Mesrine's going to pull out some mortars here.
He kind of needs it because this light tank strategy that he has been using has not been working for clearing out these infantry numbers. He needs something that's very fast and something that can hit an area of
Yep.
effect. Because right now he just got his rover CP pushed deeper into Charlie. I mean, it's not going to take too much guesswork to imagine where that rover CP is
No,
right
not
now.
at all. And it looks like Amber has noticed a big buildup of troops and has pinged it. And it looks like the Conquerors have refilled their missiles and they're going to be firing. Picking up a nice little kill
Sort
there,
of just
yeah.
in time. And the Ogre's being deployed quite far away. There's maybe those mortars could be used for smoke, but I don't think they're quite in range to do it. No.
We do have another Roland 3 being rallied out to replace the one that was lost, but its weapons are still on. Little miss micro there, I think. Especially seeing that your opponent has seed.
Yeah, generally speaking, when you're playing these high-level games, you don't even use anti-radar because your opponents are all expected to turn off their radar-guided weapons, so it's a waste of space. But in this particular instance, it's certainly paid
Yeah,
off.
I mean, usually you'll leave on your radar until you see the first seed plane come out because most people don't buy seed until about mid-game in on average. So if you can keep your opponent, or if you can leave your radar on, it does give you more coverage. And then when you see the seed plane come out, of course, you have to turn it off. But it does look like we have a big push with infantry coming into the top city of Gulf here, with a lot of tank support.
And it looks like he's actually going to be able to get his teeth in here. And if you look at the position of AmberT's command infantry, a little bit of an arrogant position. He has it right near the border, near the enemy's line.
And there's just not really, I mean, there is a B5 coming in to save the day, but there will be more infantry being rallied out here.
Well, that was a lot of infantry dying at once. But yes, we do have another 20 infantry units coming in here. Just wicked fast on load time there. Just instantly got his Panzer Grenadiers.
Yeah, but that CV is getting very danger close. If that Panzer Grenadier moves, it looks like Amber noticed that and is moving.
And that flag, it says defense. That's not a hunter saying, watch out. That's him saying you're an idiot.
Go on. I guess I need to buy another CV.
And the thing is, Kassos does not have a clue what's going on right now. He's not really pushing in because he only has a few Panzer Grenadiers, but he doesn't realize how low the numbers were for that very little bit of time there.
We are having more Jaegers rallied out as well.
More fodder, he means. And Panzer Grenadiers are going down. Does Blue Force see the command? Probably not. No, he does not.
It does look like a B5's coming in to take out a bunch of these Chieftain MK5s that Mesrine's bought for this top flank up here.
There is one Roland, but just not enough to cover. It's actually not even close enough to the edge to gain vision to fire.
He didn't really kill any of the tanks, but he was able to heavily damage them, which will help if there's a push and they're not repaired.
The weird thing with this command position is that it's so non-typical that the martyrs are assuming it's not there. They're actually moving into the woods because that's where they think it is.
Yeah, very good. I guess not too bad. It does look like that B5's finishing off quite a few more infantry.
But they keep on steamrolling in. More and more Jaegers, more and more Panzer Grenadiers.
Yeah. One thing Eurocorps does very well is just the continuous spam of infantry. And the MG3s do aid in that tactic. It looks like Hunter's making some big pushes into the woods here.
He basically has that entire point surrounded. He does, in fact, have a command in place.
This command does just go down, though,
like
to Mesrine's mortars there. So nice little pickup there to cancel stop the +4 tick.
But still now +2. That with those forces in the south, he's going to be able to grab those southern towns and completely encircle Charlie. There's basically no way at this point that he can get it back.
No, I think they've realized that and are pushing very hard to take Gulf and just equal out.
And the Jaegers are right on the command. They see it.
Looks like they're trying to
The
engage on it.
murders.
It looks like we do have a B5 coming out. Probably to 8 out on Hunter's push into Charlie here, just to speed up the attack.
That's exactly what's happening. One thing I'm kind of surprised is that he hasn't tried to axe the commands in Echo. There's only two possible
It
positions
does look
there.
like the B5 does go down though, but the Typhoon dies as well. And it looks like the Mirage 2000 as well. So even though the B5 was lost, taking out both of those ASS was a big up.
So we're back to being roughly tied. AmberT and Hunter have a slightly better position because they actually have Charlie secured, whereas Kassos and Mesrine basically have their foot in the door at golf, but they're not quite at the stage where they've dominated golf. Now he could make this more interesting by taking his tanks, which are in the north, and circling around India and going for that push. Just hasn't had enough time to test out what exactly is in this village ahead, which of course we know is nothing, but they don't know that.
Exactly.
Now, one thing to say about the strategy by Mesrine, he's actually kept a very high number of these tanks alive for quite a while. And he's just been kind of pushing them back slowly. And even like this Chieftain Mark II, which is no fuel, is still 5-vetted.
Yep.
But this could be the end. Here comes the TV guided missiles, knocking at one of those
It
tanks.
looks like Mesrine actually has 2 Eurofighter Typhoons, as you do only get 1 per card. And 1 was lost, so it looks like he had 2 cards of those. That'll be quite cost inefficient, I would say, unless you're just not planning on bringing a lot of support tab units.
It does look like he has a far more defensive-oriented deck, especially with like a lot of these lacking invasion units, lack of infantry, lack of cavalry tanks.
We do have a Caesar rallied out by Blue 4. I don't agree with the use of the bringing out that much artillery when you're this far behind. I think troops on the field would be much more productive.
How does that rhyme go? When ahead, artillery. When behind, not artillery.
Something like that, I think.
That almost rhymes.
It almost does, yeah. There's just really nothing in Echo either. I mean, you have a couple squads of Fulschmeager 90s there and some Milans, but other than that, Echo is just empty for the Blue 4 side.
It's a weird little zone because people don't tend to put a lot of units in it on either side, really, because there's no one ever pushes that. But since no one ever pushes that, you think someone would break the mold.
Yeah, I mean, it does tend, and when someone does break the mold, it usually has a devastating effect, as you do end up cutting off a huge ability to resupply, especially if you're the Blue 4 side, as your reinforcement point tends to somehow always come from Delta for some unknown reason. And it does look like Red 4 has been able to push out Blue from the door, as you were saying.
And he's actually got a leopard at Gulf in a very, very nice location, providing excellent spotting information for anything that could potentially come in, as well as picking up any potential commands they might try to place in the back area.
Yep. And it looks like we do have a command being rallied out for Gulf to try to cancel this bleed. That's just been steadily ticking away for quite some time.
Oh, look in the north. He's actually going to go on through with his tanks and realize there's actually nothing there. So he'll be able to, if he continues pushing, go all the way around and get into India. If he does it fast enough, he can avoid the reactionary response by AmberT to put immediately 3 infantry into a
And it
town.
does look like a B5 is being rallied out to try to stall the tank advance while the infantry get in
And there's still
position.
units there still spotting.
Looks like Amber knows exactly where those tanks are bound to be, as the infantry were still spotting, like you said. He will be able to land a nice stun there on the MK5. And as the other ones are in the woods, they won't be moving that fast.
Now it's going to be a race against time. Can these infantry get to that spot in time, or will he come and snipe it at that command? On the main front, we can see like there's a lot of tanks coming in to try and support these Panzer Grenadiers. There's not so much for infantry left here for Blue 4.
And it seems like the T-72As were all taken out that AmberT had in Delta, and now he has nothing left in the Delta woods, really, other than the Strellas, which are slowly running out of fuel. And it looks like a rolling 30 might be getting sniped here by the Conqueror team. Or AMX 30, I guess I should say. But it looks like it's going to make it back into the woods.
Just narrowly dodges. I'm so used to them kind of fizzling out of control.
Yep.
So it's going to be very, very hard right now for Mesrine to come back, especially with that command not being used. He actually has to move it up like right now to cancel that out. Otherwise, he's just going to
Definitely
lose.
been sitting there for quite some time, and I think it's just been forgotten about. We do have some Lynx 20 millimeters coming around on a flank. Maybe going to try to get lucky and get a kill. But it does look like a B5 is being rallied out to deal with the tanks that were in the woods here.
It doesn't help that there's Prizik Iglas.
Or it looks like it's going to aim for that AMX 30. And if it's...
Oh boy.
Nope. You can just see that blast radius actually stunning the VAB from way back off.
It's a little bit disgusting because that's not even like direct damage. That's just like shock damage, morale.
Morale damage, not actual damage. And it does look like the Strellas will finally go down to these Martyr 2s here.
Finally spotted. Not much that he could do with that. They had a good run though. They did kill off a recon helicopter early on in the game.
And that was about all they did. It does look like the Challenger 2s. Yes, there was 2 of them. And they are firing at the Moderna here. Both the Challenger 2 and the Moderna have 1 health.
But here comes some planes.
It does look like it will go down.
Both planes go down. That's not a good trade at all. Air superiority fighter for a missile plane. And yeah, it looks like Mesrine's tank strategy is not going to work. Probably will not get patented very quickly by anyone.
Yeah, I'm not much of a fan of the armored deck strategy unless you're playing on a more of a 3v3, 4v4, as I do think infantry just play way too much of a role in Red Dragon for that to really be effective.
Especially on these sort of maps where they're all very closed off, and the only tanks that'll be effective are mediums, maybe heavies.
You don't really have the super heavies being utilized super much. And it does look like the B5 is going to be firing in on that CV here. And it may pick up both those Martyr 1s as well.
Yeah, here comes the bad timing, all bad timing. And it actually is super bad timing because the Panzer Grenadiers got stunned from morale damage roughly at the same time, allowing for that T-72 MIM and 1M to come in and get some pot
Oh,
shots
the
off.
Twardy does go down, though. A nice little pickup there, but just not enough for what's needed. And those LSTR 40s are just going to town on these cheap tanks from Mesrine.
And he's calling for help. He's calling for help because he only has 4 infantry left. And he is getting it. T-72As are actually going to join the fray. These are AmberT's tanks to try and wipe out these weak tanks. I think by now you pull back those LSTRs. 1 hit point left.
You would think, but they're going to be able to pick up 1 extra kill, it looks like. And I think the Lynxes are taking their sweet jolly time to head to hotel, as the game could be over before they ever actually manage to do anything.
Some non-atypical last-minute all-in timing. Yeah, +4 is probably good enough to do this. I mean, even when you look at the southern flank, AmberT and Hunter have pushed in so far that they're about to kill off Alpha's command with no real opposition.
There's definitely, our Blue Force definitely been spending a lot of points on Gulf trying to take that zone, and it just hasn't worked out for them.
And judging by the map, it really feels like this was just a mismatch of decks than anything else because it's just tank graveyards everywhere. There's infantry everywhere for red, and it's just ridiculous clusters of units.
Yep.
And we could end the game with a +6. Yes, we do.
I mean, the kills to deaths wasn't really that far different if you look at it. I mean, that 700 points, not astronomical.
Not at all. And I think the big difference was that the infantry were able to push back the tanks. The tanks were never an opportunity to push back the infantry.
Yeah, I just don't think that there's just not that many 2v2 maps really that are armor friendly. Almost every map in the game is really infantry friendly in comparison. So
anyway, that was our Christmas special. I will be back with Wargame probably after the holidays. And will you be casting through the holidays?
Oh, probably. I don't have a life.
Oh, and you can catch Griffor over at Lord Griffor. Click on the little button there. And he does, what we say, like almost daily, every 2-day
Yeah, like every other day, I think. Thereabouts. So, yeah, I mean, mostly just rank games, but occasionally there'll be some larger games, I suppose.
Anyways, until next time, thank you guys for watching. See you guys next week.